Victoria Justice was one of the top stars of Nickelodeon in its heyday, acting in Zoey 101, then starring as the lead in the show Victorious. But since then she hasn't gone on to do much with her career, and some say her attitude is a big reason why. Let's get into the celebrities that tried to warn us about Victoria Justice. First up, we got Ariana Grande. Victoria Justice's most well-known feud is between her and Ariana Grande, who were co-stars in Nickelodeon's Victorious back before Ariana was mega famous. Although both women deny this feud, it's clear from the receipts that there was some tension between them. Since the early 2010s, fans have been convinced that Justice and Grande are rivals. The most notable moment that alluded to a feud happened during an interview with the 4 female leads of Victorious, which featured Grande, Justice, Liz Gillies, and Daniela Monet. During the Popstar magazine interview video, the cast members played a game where they said things about one another that fans might not know. During the interview, Gillies gushed about Grande's singing voice, telling the publication, quote, "She sings everything, and it's a good thing because she has a beautiful voice, and it's awesome. She sings absolutely everything, she never stops." When the other members of the cast started to agree, Justice looked very annoyed and interrupted the conversation by saying, quote, "I think we all sing a lot," while appearing to roll her eyes, which is obviously downplaying the compliment that was supposed to be for Ariana. Then years later, when it was announced that Victorious was ending, Ariana took to Ask FM to share her thoughts on why the show was over. She wrote, quote, "Sweetheart, the only reason Victorious ended is because one girl didn't want to do it. She chose to do a solo tour instead of a cast tour. If we had done a cast tour, Nickelodeon would have ordered another season of Victorious while Sam and Kat filmed simultaneously, but she chose otherwise. I'm sick of the BS." This was clearly a reference to Justice, who had released her own music at that time and announced that she was going on a tour with this new music. But Justice disagreed and clapped back on Twitter with her side of the situation, writing, quote, "Some people would throw someone they consider a friend under the bus just to make themselves look good. Hashtag stop being a phony, hashtag if they only knew." This tweet was most likely intended to play on the rumors that the show was actually cancelled so Grande could star on Sam and Kat with Jeanette McCurdy. But the shade did not end there. Years later, Ariana was doing an interview where she spoke about her past working on Victorious and shaded an unnamed co-star. Quote, "I worked with someone who told me they'd never like me, but for some reason I just felt I needed her approval, so I started changing myself to please her. It made me stop being social and friendly. I was so unhappy." This seemed to be clearly in reference to Victoria, since Ariana was good friends with many of her cast members after the show ended, but Victoria attempted to clear it up years later on the Meredith Vieira show, saying, quote, "So basically there was an article in 17 magazine where she said that she was bullied on set, and the magazine basically alluded to it being me. So once the article came out, actually before it came out, she texted me privately and was like, 'Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You know how the media twists words. I was not talking about you. Obviously, I was talking about someone on Broadway that I had worked with before.'" This seemed to set things straight, but it also didn't make a lot of sense, and Ariana never confirmed it, so the feud rumors continued. Since it's been over a decade since the show ended, fans care less and less about this alleged feud, but it's clear that they are not friends because members of the cast, including Ariana, get together pretty often without Victoria. So maybe it wasn't only Ariana that had a problem with Victoria. Victoria was also not a part of music videos like 7 Rings and Thank You Next that featured several members of the Victorious cast, except Justice. It's clear that even if there was beef between them at one point, they want it to be over now. After the meme of Victoria saying, "We all" went viral, a fan commented on one of Ariana's posts, writing, quote, "I think we're all the best." Ariana responded to the comment saying, quote, "Shut the F up," with a heart, clearly wanting to shut down this meme. Victoria similarly squashed the beef rumors, telling TMZ in 2015, quote, "We're not best friends, but at the end of the day, I wish her well and she's doing great and I'm happy for her." So I guess after all that, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide. Next up, Nina Dobrev. Nina Dobrev and Victoria Justice were definitely related in a past life because the two stars look identical. I don't think I've ever seen a more insane case of a celebrity doppelganger. Because they look so similar and are only a few years apart in age, I'm sure they have to compete slightly for roles. Any role that one gets could easily be played by the other. They also had pretty similar careers. Both broke through about the same time in the late 2000s with popular teen-oriented television series, with Justice starring on Zoey 101 and Dobrev appearing in Degrassi. Then they both got their own shows, Victorious and Vampire Diaries. It's possible that with casting, these two ladies are very competitive. Maybe the casting director already saw one of the ladies and didn't think that they were the right fit, so they wouldn't even bother bringing in the other one, as a casting director would assume that they would just be the same. Also, it's safe to assume if they both weren't in the industry and both were competing against each other, we could assume that one of them could get double the roles that they have now, because they would get, both the roles that both ladies have. And obviously the two women know that they look alike. Victoria Justice told MTV that she gets mistaken for Nina daily, saying, quote, "Dude, you don't understand. I get this every single day. Everyone always confuses me for her." Maybe the women are annoyed that at this point in their careers, they are still mistaken for someone else. Next up, Kelly Flanagan. Former Bachelor contestant Kelly Flanagan took a super shady dig at her ex Peter Weber, aka Pilot Pete, and Victoria Justice got stuck in the middle. After sharing a photo featuring Pete, Victoria, and friend and fellow actress Renata Sanfelpo, Flanagan went to the comments to share her disdain for the trio. Flanagan and Weber dated for 10 months after his failed engagement ended. Flanagan left a comment on a fan account that reposted the photo, writing, quote, "A good family friend of mine, nice," referring to Renata. Clearly, she thinks there might be something going on between the two of them. Justice left her own comment on the photo, writing, quote, "So great catching up with you today, Pilot Pete. For those of you who watch The Bachelorette, I'm sure you know Peter. We've been friends since I was 9 back in Florida, and our moms are good friends, so let's not start any crazy rumors." She added at the time, quote, "I still have no idea how the show ends, can't wait to see." So clearly Justice wanted to deflect any rumors that she was trying to see Pete as more than a friend, but fans of Kelly's did not buy this and attacked Justice in the comments. Next up, the Victorious cast. After the show Victorious ended, the cast somewhat grew apart and moved on to different ventures, but it seems that most of the cast is still pretty friendly and even hang out from time to time. But when these hangouts occur, the star of the show, Victoria Justice, is nowhere to be found. There was clearly tension between her and the other cast members during the show that is translated over to present day. Maybe that's why none of the cast members other than Justice were interested in doing a Victorious reboot when it came on the table. When Justice was asked about the idea in one interview, she was completely on board with the reboot, saying, quote, "If the decision was ever made to do a reunion or a reboot, I'd be down for that, and I think everyone else would be too." Justice told HuffPost back in 2016, adding, quote, "It was all kind of like a theoretical thing and it never came to fruition. This reunion never ended up happening. Some think the other actors didn't want to do it because it would only boost Victoria's career and they don't want to give her a helping hand." Next up, Elizabeth Gillies. Liz Gillies was another one of the Victorious cast members that turned into one of Ariana Grande's best friends. The pair have appeared in interviews together, and Liz has been featured in multiple Ariana Grande music videos as well as social media posts. It's clearly no secret that the pair are good friends and have been close since Victorious. Since Liz is friends with Ariana and not Victoria, she clearly took Ariana's side in this feud. And there's even a potential Liz has her own beef with Victoria after starring alongside her in the show. Neither star said any negative words about one another, but it's clear that Liz and Ariana are a package duo, and Victoria is not a part of their clique. So that's all for the list, but before I go, I'm going to shout out some comments from top 10 movies Hollywood almost cancelled. Jabbar said, "I didn't see any of these movies, but the Joker looks kinda interesting. Yeah, I really want to see the new Batman. I've heard it's pretty similar, but very good." Then Thalogi said, oh my god, I don't know if I said it the same as before or after, "LOL, at least you tried to say my name. Guys, I got my shout out. I feel like screaming." Thank you so much for the comment. Maybe in the next video comment how to say your name properly, because, I'm not exactly sure, but I tried. Then Jessica said, "The Human Centipede 2 and 3 are both horrible. The first is the only one that is good in any shape, way, or form." Interesting. I mean, I think I'll try watching it at one point, but it just seemed so horrible. And Ismail said, "Have a great weekend, Mackenzie." Thank you so much. It is Monday now, but I did have a very good weekend. Alright guys, that is all for the video today. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and we'll catch you in the next one.